Welcome back. Well, last week, the Constitutional Court handed down a judgment that will have far-reaching effects on the country's labour industry regarding temporary employment services. Workers who have been placed by labour brokers will automatically become employees after 3 months in a sole employment relationship. Labour broking firms ConCourt's share price fell nearly 10% on the news as investors wonder about the future of the business and its operating model. Dutiro, who's CEO of the company, is adamant that the judgment will not negate the role of labour brokers. And he joins us now. Thanks so much, Innocent, for joining us today. Before we get to that ruling, I want to take a look at the unemployment stats because we've seen unemployment rise to 27.2% in the second quarter. What's your sense of business sentiment right now and the approach being taken to hiring in a very stagnant but also very uncertain macroeconomic and political climate right now?
Good evening, Alicia. Yes. Unemployment numbers, 3 months ago, we're talking about 26%. It's ticked up now to 27%. And clearly, it's an indication that our economy is still in the doldrums and struggling. What we're finding is that across our entire business, and it's not just in the TS space, because our business covers permanent employment, covers professional, professional staff, etc., the level of hiring is tailing off.
Okay.
It's the absolute numbers and the time that is taking for our clients to actually make decisions.
Is that a factor of stagnant economic growth solely, or are we looking at problems with regards to there not being enough of a feeder pipeline to jobs within specific sectors of the economy?
It depends really on the level of staff required. The challenge that we have in South Africa is that at the top end, we've got a skills shortage and a high vacancy rate. It's very difficult to fill those vacancies. Whereas at the lower rate, we've got an oversupply of labor and very few vacancies, if any. And that's where most of the unemployment is being felt. And primarily on the youth side. The youth unemployment numbers are staggering at over 60%. And that's talks to the other point that you're talking about around TS as well, our role within the TS space, because up to 45% of our assignees are in the youth ranks. And what we do as temporary employment services, we provide employees to our clients in areas where there's very little skill required in some cases. We provide training. We introduce them to the world of work, and it gives our clients a less risk way of bringing in youngsters into the employment space for the first time.
In fact, you've said that as a driver of skills development, you're sitting as an enabler to ensure the long-term employability of individuals. What empirical evidence do you have to back that up?
We are talking at about maybe between 20 and 30% of our temporary employees ending up in permanent employment, naturally, as a natural progression as they gain experience.
Okay, so with that being the case then, we've had the judgment handed down by the Constitutional Court regarding temporary employment services. What have you made of that move, and how much of a game changer is that going to be for ConCourt and its business model?
I've obviously, like you, been following the media and been involved in this particular case since I entered this industry. I must say that the interpretation of what the Constitutional Court put forward has been very varied from what the unions have said to what actually the experts are looking at the judgment and what it means. This was a very narrow case talking about the Labour Relations Act. What happens to a temporary employee who's been assigned for 3 months? After 3 months, the client is now deemed the employer for the purposes of the LRA. And the Constitutional Court was clear in saying for the purposes of the LRA, because there are several other legal elements that impact the employment or the employment contract. And those still remain intact.
Okay, so do you foresee any significant shift in your role amidst it all?
We do not see a significant shift in our role, and let me explain what happens. I think the concept, and we don't use the term labor broker in our business. We use temporary employment services. What we do is, the public perception is that We go around, find unskilled people, get paid by clients and dump them with the client, and off we go. We make a profit from that. That couldn't be further from the truth. What we do is we recruit, train, and place these people with our clients. Our clients do not pay us upfront.
Okay.
We actually payroll these people over a period of 30 days to 60 days before we get paid by the client. We also manage basic conditions of employment and supervise some of these workers on the shop floor.
Okay, well, unfortunately, we've run out of time, Innocent, so we're going to have to leave it there. But thanks so much for having joined us in studio this evening. That, of course, Innocent Dutiro, who's CEO of ConCourt.